I think real estate videos are normally pretty boring. So this is how I would make real estate videos not boring. Hey, my name's Braxton, and I am in a different studio. This is not my bedroom. I was renting this out to film something for a wedding, doing some interviews. There's some person drilling over there, which is really annoying, and there's air conditioning that I don't know how to turn off. Annoying. First thing, why I think real estate films are kind of boring is because it's a left to right kind of style. There's no subject in it normally, it's just a house. It gets pretty boring, and people just resort to using drones, which in my opinion are overused. I own a drone, I have used it before, but typically I don't like to use it. It doesn't really match well with my camera. So when I'm using a really high quality camera, like the Pocket 4K, then when I use like a small drone camera, it doesn't look the same, and it normally results in just one 6-second shot of the whole thing. So I bought this $1,000 drone, I paid $200 to learn how to do it. I can never learn how to do it, I'm not that smart. I didn't take the tests. The test costs $150 every 2 years, I think, just to take it. And so I paid all this money for it, and I barely even use it, and I'm probably going to sell the drone. But drones aren't bad, they're good. They can show the whole property in one swoop, right? Sweep. But I would argue that small detail shots continuously in a video could be more important than one giant wide shot. I think that adding the atmosphere of the small detail shots can give a style and a feeling and a mood to the whole video instead of wide pans of a drone or just showing. It's good if you want to see oh look, here's a house and there's a Walgreens. But in other ways, I just find it hard to make it stylistic against my camera that I use now. But with the drone thing on the way, here are 5 things that I use to make my videos better. Number 1 is focusing on details without actually having to show the entire house. And I say movie directors do this pretty often. They would instead of showing one big wide shot of a room or a setting, they would show small details. If they're in a street, they'll show the sewer covers, steam coming out from buildings, windows, birds flying through. Instead of just showing one giant 10-second shot of the thing, they would choose to focus on smaller details to convey what it is and show it through there. And you get a better sense. You get to see the small details and notice things about the scene instead of just being told, we're in a street. You can show it. And the same thing applies with real estate houses. If you can show with a 50-ish millimeter lens, and you can show the couch, here's the window, here's a shadow, here's the way a light comes into the house and the windows, here's the details on the kitchen, here's the floor, the wood, all the textures of the tile and stuff, and all that, I would argue could be better than just having one big wide shot. And you could still see the background. I have shots right now, you could get a grasp for what the space is actually without having to do one big wide shot. You can focus on little details, and when doing it like that, you can make it look better because you can add movement to it, you could add depth of field, and it's just a little bit more attention to detail. I think goes a long way. The second tip is think minimal when it comes to filming. So for me, I used to go from having a Ronin M stabilizer, so the big 2-piece thing, and I had an A7S, and just using that and having to take that out every single time, set it up, and just get one 2-3 second shot of a simple sliding shot, it would take forever. I'd have to get it, hold it awkwardly, click record, and then do it, and then I can't really set it down without the stand, so I gotta find the stand and set it down, and then think about the next shot. So right now, I filmed everything handheld. It's got a cage on it. It has the camera, the lens, filters, cage, top handle, V-mount battery, and a external monitor and rail system. And so it is a lot more expensive to go that route, possibly. But for me, it's what I prefer. It's easier to set up and break down because I just carry the camera with me, built up completely. And when I drive somewhere, I just stick it in the front seat, put a little seatbelt on it like it's my child, and I drive. And then if you add post stabilization, if it's something very simple like a left or right pan where there's not much going on, the stabilization will do great, and it won't even look like you did handheld. I would bet that you or a real estate agent watching this wouldn't even assume that this wasn't shot with a stabilizer. You have to learn the stabilization tool, the post-stabilization on whatever software you're using. Like sometimes going through like two walls at the same time or like moving in a weird way, you can tell is gonna throw it off. But for me, if I stick to just left to right pans or like moving forward, just something really smooth and slow and minimal, then it can do it totally fine and it will look like I used a Ronin or any other gimbal. Number 3, to get the modern style, it's not just the filming, but it can also go into the color grading, the music choice, and the font choice. For music choice, I go for like a lo-fi hip-hop type of vibe, something more chill and a little bit more modern that you'd hear in like some sort of restaurant, so it can just complement the modern style of the house, which is most of the houses that I film are modern styles. For the font choice, I normally go for something like sans serif. So my go-to is Montserrat, I think is what it is. It's very simple. It's a very simple like block. And then for serif, my go-to is Made, M-A-D-E, and like Made Canvas or Made Sunflower. Those are both on dafont.com. And yeah, so like those are both two very different styles, the Made and the Montserrat. But just choosing one font style and going with it can take your style a long way. And then for color grading, I color grade myself. I learned from DaVinci Resolve, but focusing on things to complement the image, like bright whites or like greens and blues and like the oranges. So like for me, I prefer the bright whites and like everything else is a little bit desaturated, and there's a little bit of orange, a little bit of green in there, but it's just a very subtle, but also very attractive look to look at, for houses. So if you want, shameless plug, I made my own on Etsy. You can buy it. It's $5 for a LUT, and you can just throw it on top of your footage, and then you just add the adjustments like contrast and stuff, saturation, and then you're done. And it's the same stuff that I use. I made it for myself, and I just thought you guys might want to use it too. I don't know. Number 4 is choosing when to film. So I film in the morning because it's not as harsh of the shadows, like the sun coming in, as it is at like 1 o'clock. So morning, I mean like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. when it's still bright outside, but it's not like from the very top and just shining down and it's hot and it's gross. And then also sunset could be a little bit tricky. I know you'll want to probably shoot at golden hour or sunset, but the problem with that is that it changes. So if you only have an hour and a half to film, and normally for me, I get done in around an hour to film a house, but a lot changes when it's sunset in an hour. So it's really tricky, and it's a little bit risky to film in sunset. And the same thing goes with golden hour. It could be a little bit too orange and throw off natural colors in the house. And then number 5 is to film at the hip. Okay, so instead of filming right up here, if you film at the hip, it gives everything a more flattering point of view. I don't know why. I heard it from Mango Street. They recommended for photography, for like real estate photography, interior design stuff, to take photos from the hip area. So those are 5 tips that I think will make your boring real estate videos look less boring. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if it did. Again, I have the LUTs down below. But for real, like, I just love to help out. Let me know comments. If you have any other video ideas, I'd love to do them. If you have just questions, let me know. I'll answer all of them. Anyways, thank you for watching. And my camera, we both thank you. If you have any questions, let us know. Let me know. I'd be really happy to answer them. But thanks for watching.